this is something that I'm still experimenting with or thinking about or contemplating, is this
Mm-hmm.
messaging part, because this is why I think it's when I say what you're here to communicate, it doesn't always have to mean exactly just talking. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
literally messaging, but this is what your energy communicates. This is what you
Right.
communicate. This
What you're giving
is
off.
right. You're expressing, and what people are here to learn from you in that regard as well. Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, human design specialist.
And I'm Haley, the human design newbie. Listen in as we explore how leaning into your authentic self is your ultimate path to success. Welcome to the Human Design Hive podcast. Let's get into it.
Hello, Haley. How you doing today?
Hello, I'm good.
Yeah, it's always so nice to see your smiling face.
Peace.
Yes. We're gonna right up front put our disclaimer on today's episode. Right as we went to record, my neighbor's landscapers showed up next door.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
are an industrious crew, but you might hear them in the background, but we're just gonna roll through it because we
It
don't
might
have
be
any other
kind of
choice.
soothing.
A little
Little
ground
hum.
noise in the background
Yeah.
to get yourself used to it, or into it. Yeah, so we apologize if there is, but I don't think it'll be too loud. But anyways, so how's your week been?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked Presley up from the airport at like 9:30 last night.
Denver?
Yeah. No,
Mm.
he flew out of the Springs,
Oh,
thankfully.
that's much better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so tired.
You're tired because you went to bed at what time as opposed to what time?
Like maybe a half an hour difference.
Well, God bless you.
I need a regimented sleep.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I have this thing. I think, the days get longer and most people would be up earlier. I swear in the summertime, I want to sleep in and I don't like it, but I do. And it's probably because your dad leaves early in the
Hmm.
morning during the week or during the summer because he's a boat captain. So he's out
Hmm.
on the water. And because normally I would wake up early to have the house kind of quiet to myself.
But I mean,
I don't have to do that.
when he leaves early, Ian doesn't wake up till like noon.
Mm-hmm,
Well,
mm-hmm.
earlier if he has to go to work, but then
No,
he
he
gets
wakes up
up.
earlier than that.
Yeah, he
Any
gets up and then
future
he goes straight to
employers,
work.
yeah, any future employers, he does not sleep till noon.
When he doesn't have to work.
But yeah, he stays up late. He does.
Yeah.
Um,
Lakeland's quiet, so you
for the
don't
most
have to
part.
get up.
Yeah, well, you know what else I think it is the temperature of the room because in the winter time, you have the
Hmm.
heat on, even though we turn it down at night so that it's not running and it's not hot,
Right.
or yeah, not hot, but it does turn on at a certain time in the morning for
Mm,
people waking up, and being too hot, you don't sleep good. This is
no.
riveting stuff. I know. This is really fascinating.
Yeah.
But I did start taking some new, I've taken them before, these CBD gummies
Hmm.
that are for sleep. So it has a combination of CBD and CBN, and there might be a small legal amount of THC in it. Legal because I'm
Hmm.
here in South Carolina. And it's not legal here yet. And man, those things, I sleep good. I think I have
Hmm.
been sleep deprived in a sense because I have not been sleeping well. And
Mm.
so I'm like I'm getting now like 8.5 hours of sleep and it feels like
Oh.
not enough. That's a lot. Normally I've been getting like 7, but I've also been tossing and turning a lot. But this stuff, it like I sleep and I stay asleep for the most
Hmm.
part. And I'm dreaming a lot, which I love. I love that. I'm
I
getting
never
all the
remember
dreams.
my dreams.
Not always good to remember them, but
Like, never.
yeah, your dad doesn't either. He used to swear for years he never dreams. I'm like, you do some kind of dreaming. I think everybody
Yeah,
does.
I
You just
mean,
don't remember.
I have to be dreaming. I just don't ever like, it's very rare that I do remember one.
Mm-hmm. No, I actually, that's what keeps me in bed sometimes because I'm in this half state of like half asleep, half awake, and I'm kind of
Mhm.
dreaming. And I just, if it's a good dream, I just want to stick with it, and I just don't wake up. But the sad part is I still set my alarm for 7:30, and all I have to do is barely touch my phone to turn it off. And so I just every 5 minutes I'm just like ding, ding, because it just plays a nice little melody. I don't have one of
Mhm.
those, and I don't ever look at the clock in the middle of the night. I got rid of
Mm-mm.
my alarm clock years and years ago with the red digital display
Yeah,
because if you wake up, you just look at it and then you're like, oh my
it's
God,
never a good idea.
no,
Never.
I only have 3 hours. I only have 2 hours. So I did that years ago. I stopped looking at the clock. And so now I'm just like, I just keep tapping, barely tapping my phone. No, not yet. No, not yet. No, not yet. But such is life. That's why we do the
Yeah.
things we do and set life the way we want it to so that we can sleep the way we want to if we can. I'm just taking
Hmm.
advantage of it because this morning I didn't want to sleep in as much. So I think I'm catching up. I'm catching up on my sleep now. So that's good.
It's always hard for me to wake up. Like, I
Always.
never want to get out of bed.
Hmm.
Last Saturday, slept into like 9. That's
Hmm.
so late for me.
Me too. Me too.
I
I
I like I hate sleeping in that late, but I
mm-hmm.
know that I needed to because I still like on the weekends my alarm goes off at 7 and I
Mm-hmm.
turned it off and just let myself sleep. So like
Mm-hmm.
I needed that sleep, but then
Mm-hmm.
I hate waking up that late because I feel like my day is gone.
I know. It's true. Even though we have the longer days, but of summer, but it's totally true. I especially, I'll do this thing where I wake up, I'm like, oh, and I start to get really down on myself. And then I'm like, well, that's not helpful. It's like it's not the end of the world. You'll just try
Hmm.
better. And I don't stay up that late. I'm like 11:30.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, just schedules are very strange in the summer. We eat very late, go to bed, 11:30, wake up later. So, anyways, now that everybody knows that part of our lives, should have read it. But if
Hey,
anybody else out there,
someone is interested.
hey, if you sleep later in the summer, let me know. If you need help sleeping, let me know. I'll tell you what the CBD gummies are because they're really great and really, really good. So, okay, let's get down to brass tacks.
Let's do it.
Let's dive into it. So, I'm really excited about today's episode because it's something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, thinking about talking a while, and it coincides with a lot of the stuff we've been doing around purpose and life purpose, and then the Gene Keys work, going through the activation sequence. Just more of this. What is my purpose? What am I here for? What am I doing? How can I contribute? All those things, which
Hmm.
I know if you're listening, that's probably something that's pretty important to you. And I also, from my own perspective, I told you before we got on, we're kind of dipping our toes here in the water. I think we may have talked about it a little before, but about ways to use human design and why I am so passionate about human design and wanting to share it with people is because,
Hmm.
and it's a large part of my design, is about finding work that you love and doing that work. So as a generator, of course, that's built into my makeup because generators
Hmm.
are about finding work that they love and they are meant
Right.
to keep doing work that they love. And
Hmm.
really all of us are in some way, but the generator types are more workers than the
Yeah.
projectors or the
Hmm.
manifestors. You guys are also meant to do what you love, but you don't have to like do all the work kind of thing. But
Hmm.
so what I think, if anybody has ever, let's just put it in an entrepreneurial sense, if you've ever tried to run a business or start a business, your own business, work for yourself in any capacity, you soon find out that it is a personal development journey. Like there's no way around it because you learn a
Hmm.
lot about yourself, right? You learn what your limits are, what your beliefs are around things.
Mm-hmm.
You're shaking your head. You guys have tried a couple, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and a lot of people find that. Now, my background, I know we've talked about it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but your father and I owned a business for 18 years. We were our own
Mm-hmm.
bosses, and it had a lot of ups and downs.
Yep.
Yep. And it was definitely, I mean, I guess we kind of grew up at the same time the business was growing because, and you too, because we started it the year before you were born.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so when you're working for yourself and there's no one to tell you what to do and you have to figure it out, and then you have to, um, if you hit certain plateaus in your business, you have to figure out what's happening. And usually it has something to do with yourself. You just find that over time, you find the way that you like to work, why you're working, why you're doing what you're doing, what you want out of it. And what that business did for us for all those years stressed us out immensely. It was a seasonal water sports business. It was great when it was flowing. It was horrible when
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And in the sense that, it was seasonal. So 6 months of the year, there was money coming in. 6 months of the year, there wasn't. And what do we do in between? Well, Richard, your dad, tried to do lots of other stuff, try to save some money, but we never seemed to have any to save. We learned a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
along the way and took a lot away from it, which helped shape what, as I build a new business, things I don't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
things I know I'm not going to do, which is I'm never going to have a location-based business again, ever. I'm never going to have a business based around weather ever again. I'm never going to have a business that, what was the other one? Location, weather, and a boat. Boats. That was
Yeah.
the other one. Things that break down, equipment, never. It's too many variables in there.
Yeah.
Or something that relies on the price of gas. Let me tell you that
Mm.
was hard too. So it helped me refine, show me
Yeah.
what I'm capable of. But why is it relevant to today? Well, it's relevant today because, like I said, it helped me figure out that I don't want to do that kind of work again. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I was, behind the scenes a lot, out on the beach a lot, behind the scenes, plus raising you kids at the same time. I was
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot. That was my real work that I enjoyed, was you guys. And I didn't really enjoy much about the other thing, except for I really enjoyed being tan.
Yeah.
Having a
I
nice golden
I
glow all
miss,
summer long.
yeah, you're outside all day. I do kind of miss
Hmm.
that. Was standing like all day. That sucks.
Yeah.
I worked in the
Hmm.
hut, the
Yes.
office.
Yes. When you were finally able. I think it did a lot
Yes.
for you too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it
Oh yeah,
helped
I
you
learned a lot
get
from
out of
it.
your shell a lot that you were in. Certainly taught you how to cuss like a sailor, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Those water dogs.
I know. I was listening to a interview, I think with Jennifer Garner the other day, and they're like, "Do you swear around your kids?" She's like, "No, not so much because I think that, it's okay. I try not to because I think they should know that there's certain adults or certain situations in adults where you shouldn't be swearing, and I guess I'll be that person." I thought, "Oh gosh, that was good parenting advice." I stopped that one a while ago.
They do say though that what you swearing is a form of intelligence
Some say
somehow.
that, some say the opposite. It's like some say, "Oh, you're so base if you swear." We definitely, definitely do. Um, I have to, not remembering everything we say, I always have to check is this podcast explicit? And I'm like, well, it's not like horrible, but I'm sure something slipped out.
Oh yeah, there's like usually a shit or hell, and an F-bomb in there.
Ooh, hang on. Oh God, what were we talking about? Got off topic. Talking about swearing.
Uh oh, you were talking about you liked the tan. You did miss that part of it
Yeah, but
because
that
that's when I
wasn't the
got
point of
in.
today's
I know,
episode,
but I
was
can't
being
remember what was
tan.
right before that.
Anyways, about
Oh, your real
working.
joy was raising us.
Hmm.
and you liked the tan.
That's right. So there was a lot of aspects I did not like. And then I also had another semi business I tried building kind of simultaneously was a jewelry business, which
Mm-hmm.
never really went full time. Like never really, it sold and everything was good. And I was
Mm-hmm.
doing wholesale for a while. But again, that taught me, okay, product based business that I have to make. I mean, you can't, you have to scale it to a whole different level of like manufacturing, which I didn't want to do. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to outsource making it. And there was always just something there that just didn't quite click. It taught me a lot of things. Also, that's how I got into this whole online realm of learning about online business and computers and building websites and e-commerce and all the things I have done prior to now was because of the jewelry business, because it was kind of a one woman show. I was trying to learn this online world, which is totally different than brick and mortar. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've taken lots of trainings and gone through all this stuff, which I now know was leading me more towards this than that. But that's also that generator stair step
Mm-hmm.
learning curve of learning something new and just seeing what's next. But again, that wasn't quite the thing. But that's when I also really started learning a lot of this personal development stuff around mindset and success, a success mindset. And,
Mm-hmm.
it goes deeper than that simple term, but it also at the same time was when I was doing all the yoga and it was all kind of melding together. So now when I look at business or people in business, or wanting to be in business, I know that the most important part, it's not the email sequences, the funnels,
Mm-hmm.
the advertising, the marketing, social media, none of it. It's all like what's inside of you
Mm-hmm.
and what you're here to bring out and share. And even if people get really successful without ever diving into this kind of work, they get to a point where they have to because you can create massive success, and I've seen it in that way where people are just so focused on the here, the now, the like let's build something big and keep scaling, and they can get massive. And then
Mm-hmm.
um but they may be completely unfulfilled personally. People that are unfilled, people get to a certain level and then you hear them talk all the time about, oh, I just decided to burn it all down and start over, which people want to do that. But um, this is such a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean it makes sense because like any of the uh I say businesses loosely that me
Mm-hmm.
and Presley have tried,
Mm-hmm.
um, they were all things that he wanted to do and he came up with the premise of it, and he was the one driving it, and it was never really what I wanted to do. I was there
Mm-hmm.
to, be a part of it and support him and help him, but it was never what I wanted to do. So I didn't want to do anything with
Mm-hmm.
it. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, he'd be like, oh, we got to do this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to. And so then they never went anywhere because I mean, we weren't working together because we weren't both about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you kind of, in this regard, you guys kind of got the model backwards because you're the projector, the manager guide, and he's the generator. Although he's a generator with a lot of, ideas and starting,
Hmm.
energy, a lot of ideas. Um, but perhaps one day he'll be able to help you, or you'll be able to guide him in doing the work, because I know we had many conversations, which this is one thing I love about your husband, is that he's very open-minded. And
Hmm.
when it comes to this, because I know that he comes off as a numbers guy. He's a director of finance in his company,
Hmm.
right? Did I get it
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
And and he does work with numbers, but he is very much a believer in the power of mindset, and
Hmm.
that being an important component to your success, which I wholeheartedly believe. And so as we move on, that's one of the reasons that I have, it's what I think about all the time, honestly. What I think about all the time between human design, mindset, And when I'm usually in conversations with people, it always comes around to the work that they want to do or something they have a passion about that they want to do, or they don't like the work that they're doing and they want to do something different. And it's tapping into your design and knowing what, they bring to the table and what do they want to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I am starting to come to terms with the fact that that is a part of my design, whether I am aware of it or not. When I think about before getting into this human design stuff, of how often I was doing that anyhow, of just trying to always, I get in a room with people and they start talking about things they're unhappy about or things they really like. And my brain is literally like spinning ideas of like, oh, well, you could try this, or you could try this, or you could do this, or maybe have you thought about looking at this or this or that? And so it's what I think about all the time. And I love thinking about business and learning new ways of doing things, and also this human design stuff and how it all weaves in. And so today's episode, I have had people ask me about this before, and I finally feel ready to bring it forth. And I think it's a good time, and is about messaging and how you can look at your human design chart and figure out what we talked about purpose, but this is really like what you're here to bring forth in the work that you do and how you do it. So it could be in regards to, say, you're already in business, and maybe if you're listening, you're a coach or in some kind of profession like that, and you're wanting to know how to hone your messaging more to the people that you want to talk to, or what is it you really bring to the table, what is it people want to hear from you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or even if it's not, maybe it's just how you're going to do your business, because we're going to be looking kind of a lot at Mercury great gates, which is about how you communicate, but also how you do what you do. And so we're going to have some examples there, but we're going to also walk through, specifically if you're looking at your chart, a couple elements to look at that will help you figure out what you're here to really talk about, in the sense of this is the energy that you were born with, that you're here to kind of be an expert at and tell people about and teach people about. And it's probably also things that you've had to learn about along the way, which we definitely have. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're younger, even, as a side note, if you're a line 6 out there, just remember that
Shout
depending
out.
on where you are in your life, you may be in different stages. So just take that into account when we talk about a lot of this stuff. Also, I think that if you have in the gates, we're looking at Mercury and the Moon. If you have line 6s there, they could also depend on where you are in your life, if you've gotten the full expression of this yet or not. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mark sense. So give yourself some
Makes
grace if you
sense.
got some line 6s there in any of the areas that we're going to be touching on here.
Mm-hmm.
Haley.
No, I have this. I have a weird thing. Like most people, like the Gary V of the world. These people that
Mm-hmm.
have like huge success stories. Like
Mm-hmm.
Pressy will read about them, and he think it's like so great and so motivational. I do
Mm-hmm.
not. I feel the opposite about any of those stories. I'm like, nah.
I'm really loving Gary V's content right now. This is Gary Vaynerchuk, if you don't know who he is, because and I've been reposting a lot of his stuff, because he
I've
was
seen
one of
it.
those hustle culture guys, but now he is so much like pressing that message of like, if you're my age, if you're 52, if you're 50, you've got so much still ahead of you. And, like I said, that dovetails exactly with what I believe, especially in the human design system, that not until you're after 50 are you fully cooked on because of all of these planetary cycles that we all go through, line 6 or not. We all go through these planetary
Mm-hmm.
cycles up until about 50, or if you want to include your second Saturn return, that's at the end of your 50s. But you might have to do something before you're, 59, but maybe not. I don't know. There's lots of successful people out there that don't start until their 50s. I'm going to be one of them. So, but yeah, but he's also, he's been talking a lot about, it's about the mindset. It's about the more than
Mm-hmm.
he used to. I mean, it used to be like, you got to want to get up at,
Gotta
4
grind. Just
a.m.
gotta
and
do it.
grind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now he's just like, hey, man, Relax. You got this. Be easy on yourself. Be nice to people. I'm like, yeah, right? You do that. Everything has shifted for me more so since human design finally settled in my bones here to help inform everything I look at now. Because also a lot of that stuff out there when they tell you, how to find clients, how to talk to clients, how to, market yourself, all those things are so homogenized across the board.
Hmm.
For one, I'm still shocked when I go to look for podcasts or whatever around, this is really weird to me, around mindset, is how
Hmm.
many the top podcasts are all men. I'm like, why are they all men? Why is all this mindset stuff about, and they're all these, big successful, not all of them, but bro types or whatever, and I just find it crazy that women aren't up there more. I think one of
Hmm.
them is Mel Robbins. She's got a podcast that she's on there a lot around mindset. But yeah, like, why? I don't know. I forget what I was gonna say. Men. Men, I lose all track of thought. I'm like, men. Mindset. Business mindset. Gary V. Okay, so we got off topic there, I think. So let's just rein it back in because we got off topic. Let's get back on it. So looking at your
Okay,
human design chart. Oh yeah, why I love human design.
there it is.
There it is. It just, oh, the homogenized marketing. That's what it was.
Yes, there it
It all
is.
tells you that, you have to do things a certain way. And if anything we learn through this work is that none of us are the same.
Absolutely not.
How they tell us to speak to people or find people or whatever is going to be different. I mean, there are some, marketing rules you can still definitely apply, but this is really, human design works really ushering in the era of being yourself and using your own personal brand and being really solid in that and knowing what you have to offer and how to communicate that to people. So
Hmm.
that's what we're going to kind of focus on here. So the most important part of looking at what it is you're here to bring to the world is to first and foremost look at your type, or just know your type, know about your type, right? You
Yes.
don't have to look at
Uh-huh.
it because,
Unless you're new.
well, yeah, you may or may not know. Yes, because each uh, energy type or a type has a certain way of interacting and also has a certain purpose or a role here,
Hmm.
because we all are meant to work together. We all have a way, we know the,
Hmm.
we were talking about earlier with the generators
Hmm.
being the builders. Manifestors
Yeah.
are the, what? What are manifestors?
Manifestors, they're the initiators.
Correct. We know the projectors, the guides, and all that other stuff. So, oh, I also want to say one other thing. As we're going through this today, a
Okay.
lot of what I'm going to be touching on is a lot of in quantum human design. So,
Okay.
the reason for that is because the quantum human design language is a lot more aspirational. It's a lot more,
It's better
right. It's a
than
lot
the
more
traditional.
encouraging and
Yeah.
gives you direction on where you want to go and how you, instead of just like, this is your shadow.
Yes.
So so there's going to be a lot more of this quantum human design language here today. So for the different types, let's just run through it really quick here, what the purpose is of the types. So as you
Okay.
said, the manifestors are the initiators, right?
Hmm.
They get the
Hmm.
ball rolling. And so in quantum human design, she talks about for each type, there's a spiritual purpose and a quantum purpose. So I'm just going to let you know what those are. So for the manifestor, the spiritual purpose is to translate divine inspiration into action. Okay, so
Okay.
knowing what we know, what does that really mean about what we talk about all the time with the manifestors and their process?
I don't know what you're asking me. I mean, if they're trying to take a divine inspiration and turn it into action, it's
Mm-hmm.
pulling the ideas from
Mm-hmm.
the source
Right.
and facilitating the start of them.
That's right. They have their internal nonverbal creative flow. They're tapped into source
Yes.
So
Mhm.
that's that divine inspiration translated into action. Take because they don't necessarily, they're not like necessarily hearing voices to tell them what to do. They just have this,
Mhm.
urge, this instinct to get into action. And so they're here to initiate people into, as she says in quantum, into a frequency of transformation and creativity through direct access to the quantum pulse. Basically, just saying they're here to initiate people. They say around a manifester, the energy that they give off sometimes is that like you never really know what's going to happen. Like when something's going to just there's this certain kind of
Like kind of
expectant,
electric.
yeah, around them because they have that ability to just get into action. And so if you're a manifester and you're looking at what it is you're here to communicate or get your message across or whatever, take that into account that you are kind of, if you are a manifester, you have that initiating energy with people, that maybe you're someone that's here to deliver a message that's supposed to get people
Mm-hmm.
going, kind of thing. So the generator types, the spiritual purpose there is to turn inspiration into form. And
Mm.
so you think about the process, the strategy of a generator is to wait, respond to
Mm-hmm.
something. And so
Right.
turning inspiration into form really means like generator process is you have an idea and there's something that you are interested in or you've been pondering, and then something happens outside of yourself, respond to that, tells you you're moving in the right direction, or if you have the sacral energy for it or whatever. And we know that generators are then to physically manifest creativity and express through devotion, she says, meaning it's got to be something we really love.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to literally, we're building. If you are a generator, you need to consider when you're thinking about the messaging and what you're doing is that, you also have this enveloping aura. People are going to be attracted to you, especially the more you are lit up by whatever it is you're talking about. I think this is true for a lot of people, but projectors
Mm-hmm.
as well. But for the generator type, especially. And so knowing that part of your message is going to be responding to life and building and mastery and how to take an idea or something that you're passionate about, building around something like that possibly, or just if it's not even a messaging of like actual marketing messaging or whatever, it's like just how you're going to do your business is going to be in that realm of building and crafting mastery, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a great visual there for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
For the video, me going, does that make sense? Okay. So for the manifesting generator, it's pretty much similar. It's turning inspiration into form because you are first and foremost a generator type. Same thing, physically manifesting this creativity, and the extra component is doing it in a faster, quicker way. You're here to like speed up the process in linear time
Mm-hmm.
because you are going to be someone who's probably doing a lot of been there, done that for people as well. If I've tried this, you try this, especially doubly so if you were going into profile lines here in a second. It could be about processes or whatever, but you are here to be finding efficient ways to do things quicker, faster,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So consider your type as you're looking at this. Projectors, of course. Now we've talked about managing and guiding,
Mm-hmm.
projectors are really good at that. They're here because they can see into the
Mm-hmm.
other and what others are capable of and what they need. But also, um, in quantum human design, she talks about how projectors are really here to their spiritual purposes. They're here to anchor the energy template of what we're here to create as humanity. And so, what that means is we talk about projectors' energy, use of energy being different. Your guys' energy is a little more precious because it's not as sustainable as the other types.
Mm-hmm.
And holding the energetic template a lot is really about you guys projectors learning what their energy system is like, once they recognize it, and honoring that, and working with the energetics of things instead of the physical part of things. It's like a projector is someone who is meant to find again what they're really passionate about or what they really know that they're good at, and
Mm-hmm.
know that this is what they have to offer. This is how they can help others. And then once they stand in their own value, they are that attractive light to other people. Find them, because then the correct people that they're meant to work with their precious energy, are going to hear them and see them and recognize them, and so they're more effective. And so projectors are really here. Yes, they guide others, generally generator types, because that's most of us, but is also to show us that we can use the creative energy of things, emotions, those types of things that are really, as we move forward, it's going to be about not so much the hard work, the physical work.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be about what was Miss Pierce, your middle school and whatnot teacher, virtual school teacher. What she always say?
Work smarter, not harder.
That's right.
Okay.
What I always think of when I hear that, like, about that, is working smarter, not harder. But what I take that to mean is just, yeah, learn how to use your energy more effectively, and then you won't be like spinning all the time, because that's
Mm-hmm.
what projectors are good at, is pointing out what others need. Okay, so, and then the reflector. Um, the reflectors, of course, are the barometers of the alignment here of humanity. They help us, show us where we're getting it right, where we're getting it wrong. And so they feel and know the potential and possibility in individuals and the collective. So if you are a reflector, taking that into account as well of how you work. So the next thing that you want to look at when you're thinking about your messaging or how you want to communicate is your profile.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to look just at the 6 lines. We're not going to do every profile, but
Okay.
if we're thinking about your messaging or what it is you're here to offer, communicate. If you're a line ones are all about data and information, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Yeah.
what do you think they might have to offer?
Uh, well, I mean, to me, like, it's going to be like, in terms of or business or messaging or whatever, it's going to be like, to me, it seems like numbers, facts, like the history of something, like real concrete things that you can look up and
Mm-hmm.
and see and like picture.
Okay. That's true. Now it's probably because I use the word data and information, but yeah, they do. Line ones do line ones do lay the foundation of information. Really, like, information makes line
Mm-hmm.
ones feel safe and secure, and they want to know all the things about everything.
I mean, I kind of use you as my Google when we're like in the same room. I'll just ask
Yeah,
you, and either you know it or you'll find it real quick on actual
yeah,
Google.
yeah. We're very curious. We want to know the answers to everything. Um, but, that's because the information that line ones have to share is for everyone. So
Hmm.
foundations help create stability and security, right? And that's what
Hmm.
line ones do. They are the foundation. And this information is meant to help everyone. And so they want to
Hmm.
make sure that they have the information and it's solid. And so they will
Yeah.
explore that. Line twos are all about integration, meaning they're the hermit, right? So what does the
Hmm.
hermit needs? What?
The line two and the hermit, they need their time to themselves to kind of go through their own process, their own, technique, refine what they know, do their
Mm-hmm.
own research. And then when the time is right, they get pulled out of that cave.
That right. That cave, right.
The
That
cave.
right.
That right.
That's true, right. So part of the messaging there with the line two would be about that need for time, self renewal, giving yourself the time to maybe be alone, be in your own process, integrating what it is that you are curious about or what you're learning about. There's going to, because the line two is the natural. So there could be a lot of that in how you communicate and what you communicate. It would be around that messaging. The line threes, what do you think?
So the line threes, they're very much hands in the clay. We talk about that, like
Mm-hmm.
trial and error. They got to figure things out for themselves, and they have to do that so that they know that what they're providing or what they're telling other people is solid. Like they
Mm-hmm.
know that it works. they've tried it. Like they're not going to tell you something unless they've tried it.
Right. Exactly. And so their messaging, and I can think of people I know that are out there that I do know their profiles that are line threes is very much in that vein of I have done this, I've tried this, and they are not afraid to share their process, how they're trying things. Like they are not afraid to talk about people that are really integrating their own design, whether they know it or not. But most of the people I'm talking about, they know because they're in human design. They're like, hey, this is what I've tried. This is an experiment. This is what it means for me. They'll show you when they, even when they change their mind or how they do things differently or whatever. They're very much about, been there, done that, try this. And so there's definitely going to be an element of that in the messaging. So here's where it gets a little trickier. I think we get those first three ones. Everybody gets those first three.
The next two, I'm a little not so solid on.
All right. So line 4. So what do we know about line 4s?
So line 4s, it's a lot about relationship. Like it's about connecting people to yourself, but also connecting people to other people when the time is right. Like it's big connection, big relationship. And I think something else, but that's all I can think of.
Yes, that is very good. And it's foundational as well as a line 1, but it's the foundation, you're right, of interactions and relationships. And so line 4s are building also a solid foundation so that when people are ready to transition or change, they have structures already set up in place. So this is why, like a 4-1, they talk about being like super foundational and kind of hard to move or hard to change, just because it's these two very foundational lines that are very set, in this structure, this foundation. So if you have a line 4 profile, yes, you're definitely going to be it's going to be about relationships, building relationships, strong relationships, but then also holding that space or that template or whatever you want to call it for people that when, they're ready to make a change or they need, to go to the next level, something, you've helped them build the foundation for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Line 5s, what do you remember about line 5s? Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the show so far, but I just wanted to take a moment to pop in here and ask you a question. Have you had a human design reading yet? Have you had one with me yet? Well, why not? So when I think about this question, I've thought, well, maybe you just don't know if it's worth it to sit on a Zoom call for an hour to have your questions answered. I personally think it is. I love the one-to-one connection of being able to see you, but some of you maybe aren't ready for that. Maybe you have Zoom burnout. We've all been on Zoom a lot the last couple years, and maybe the thought of hopping on another Zoom call just makes you crazy. Or maybe you just simply don't have the time right now in your schedule, but you're really, really curious and you'd really like more of a connection than just a written report. Well, I've got you covered. I have recently launched a new offering, a recorded human design reading. And it is basically the same things that we would go through on a one-to-one. I'll cover your type, strategy, authority, profile, incarnation cross. I will explain it to you in a way that's easy to understand and applicable to you specifically. It'll be your chart that I'm looking at and talking about, just like a live reading. And also in the recorded human design reading, you have the option to ask me anything, basically. So let's say you're really familiar with your human design chart and you just have some burning questions that you want answered. This is a great opportunity for that as well. So when you decide you want to do this, just head on over to humandesignhive.com/offerings and you'll find the different readings I have there. Maybe you want to do that one-on-one. I'd love to see you. But if not, click the recorded human design reading. And once you complete the transaction, you'll fill out a simple form to tell me what it is you're interested in knowing more about. And within 3 to 5 days, you will receive your own personalized recorded human design reading in both video and audio format. And just like with my one-on-one readings, with this one, you also receive a video recording of the reading, but you'll also receive an audio file of the recording so you can listen to it on the go whenever you want. So go ahead and check that out on the website, and I really hope to be seeing you in my inbox really soon. That's it for now. Let's get back to the show.
So in my head, it's like I always think of a mirror
Right.
because they have that like that their energy type, their
Projection.
aura or whatever, yeah, projected, and it's like the other person like sees kind of what they want to see, but it's not always what the actual line 5 is. It's
Yeah.
it's hard to describe.
Yeah, they reflect what the line 5, yeah, can reflect what the person actually needs, although it's probably not what that person thinks it is that they need, you know. So
Right.
there's this projection onto line 5s. But line 5s are the visionary leaders.
That's right.
They're very much in that leadership energy because a line 5 universalizes the themes in the hexagram. Let's say, you know, we talked about when
Mm-hmm.
we talked about like the line days, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so as a line 5 profile, you're going to be universalizing the themes that are in your, you know, sun and earth placements, whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's also a sense of a practicality about the line
Right.
5, you know,
Right.
practical solutions, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So I think a
Oh,
lot of people that, yeah, go ahead.
I remember something else on them is they a big thing is knowing when they need to leave. Like they've given
Hmm.
their solution. This
Hmm.
is what it is. It's time for them to move on.
Yeah,
Like,
because they're meant to impact a lot of people, not
right.
necessarily on a personal level. That's that leadership energy, I think, that is, you know, tapped in of like, this is what I know. And so for the line 5, as far as messaging, knowing that you're going to be someone who is, you know, using that energy to help spread a message maybe to a wide audience. And that's what they're meant to do. They're here to help a lot of us. And so then the line 6, well, what is the line 6 called?
The line 6 is called the role model in
Mhm.
quantum, I believe, right? That's the
Yes.
quantum.
No, that's the human design.
Oh, what's the quantum?
Adept.
Adept.
Hmm.
Well, role model. This is one of the ones where I think I like the traditional over the quantum.
Yeah. Well, I did look up what adept meant, and I can't pull it off of my head right now. But I was like, oh, I can understand why she says adept because it is
Mhm.
someone who is just very um solid in what they know, kind of thing.
It's to me, I see it. It's very much like someone who has a line 6. Like it's very much like what you see is what you get. They're very much their person. Like they're not trying to be something else. They
Hmm.
know what has worked for them. They've tried things. They know what works, knows what doesn't work, and they just are living true to
Hmm.
themselves.
That's great because what I was to say is if you're a line 6 and you're messaging, you got to be walking your talk because you are the role model. Even now,
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the different stages of your life, you know, there's going to be um, some play around in that, but still, it's, you know, whatever it is that you have. I mean, probably if you're listening to this, you're at least in your mid to late 20s. I don't think there's much younger than you listening that you've already at this point, if you're young and you're trying to figure out your message, you know, this is going to help some because we'll give you things to look at more than just this in the chart that you could be experimenting with because you're in the line 3 phase, you know,
Mm-hmm.
of what does that look like for me? How do I experience that? What does it mean? And then because I want to make sure everybody knows that is a line 6 and is younger, that you don't have to wait till you're 50 to build a business or anything like that, build a life. You're still going to be doing that along the
Mm-hmm.
way. And you can enjoy every moment of it, but just know that you're always going to be evolving as we all are. But you might not get the fullest of expression of certain things until you're, you know, a little bit older, which, you know, that's true for a lot of us. But
Mm-hmm.
so yes, if you are line 6 and you're messaging, you got to make sure that you're walking the talk. You are someone that's going to be looked at in that way. People are going to feel that you do have something to share with them that is gained through lived experience in your wisdom. So if you are older, say past your Chiron return in your 50s, and you're listening, you might just now be starting to get an idea of what that is, and trust that because it's there. I can't tell you this, but it's unique to all of us. I can give you places to look, because a line 6 is somebody that is going to be sharing and giving something to others to aspire to and to be inspired by. So, and like I said, it's living authentically as yourself. Correct, Mundo. God,
Yes.
why did I just say that? Okay, thoughts on that? Anything?
I mean, I think for anything in human design, my line 6, like the description of that is, I think, what I resonate the most with, because it's what I can see the most. Because I feel like I am like, what you see is what you get. Like I am myself.
Yes.
I might express differently depending on who I'm with,
Right.
just like on a comfortability level, but like
That's that open G.
yeah. But I mean, like, I'm an open book. Like,
Yeah.
I try to be very authentic.
Yep. God, imagine what you're going to be like at my age. You'd be running the world by then. Well, I mean, honestly, we joke and we laugh about that, but shit, having this knowledge at your age and as you move through life, like, whew, Ra always said that the human design was for the children, was really the parents, the generations that are going to come after me, maybe even your children, if you have children, which I know you will. I'm always like, I think so. I never want to press that on anybody, but starting with this knowledge with kids, like understanding it, and you're still not going to be perfect because we're all human, but just being able to start a child and honoring who they are, which I always tried to do with you guys, but I didn't have this toolkit of information to know who you were. You guys were just telling me or showing me. And, as a parent, you think, but it's really illuminating now to see you guys a whole new light, because if we're going to look at this stuff here, say your brother, he's a 3-5, he's teaching me so much about the line 5, that because he has no idea and he doesn't want to talk about it and he's not interested. And so I'm trying to pay attention in our interactions, just me and him, but then also his process and how other people interact with him. And you want to talk about practical solutions and leadership energy being projected onto, like, I see it all the time, and it's very interesting to watch. But anyway, so we're getting off course, we're talking about ourselves again. So here's the real fun part. Here's what starts to get a little more individual. Okay, so when you look at your chart, we're going to be looking at your Mercury placements and your moon gates, those gates, okay? Because Mercury in astrology is the planet of, well, Mercury was what? You don't know.
Are you talking mythology?
Well, we did the planets before.
That was a long time ago.
Messenger, yeah. You're like, we both look at each other like, what is it?
I would not have gotten there, I don't think.
Right. So. But anyways, so Mercury is what you're here to communicate and how you communicate specifically. And what's interesting is you can actually just look at the gate names to help you decide, or not decide, but kind of get some insight into what that is. And I'm going to include in today's show notes, I do have a gates cheat sheet that you can download, which has all of the gates, all 64 gates, and it has like traditional human design, quantum human design, and the I Ching descriptions of them, or a little brief description too. So you can get that for free if you just go to the show notes. It'll be right there, and something you can download, which would, you might want to do that before we get started. Who knows? So go ahead and do that and come back. But anyway, so the uh the gates, if you use the actual names of the gates, that can help you, or if you get a brief description of it, that can help as well. So you'd be looking at your Mercury gates, right?
Okay.
Conscious and unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
And then your moon gates are what drives you. Okay, it's why you do what you do. Okay,
Okay.
does that, so it's the energy behind, it's what motivates you, it's your drive, it's why you do the thing you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how the scientifically what the moon does to the earth with the tides. So it kind
Mm-hmm.
of was I was
Mm-hmm.
kind of seeing why it was that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you could go back and listen to the episodes about the activation sequence with the gene keys, which goes into a
Hmm.
different perspective on the sun and earth gates. Of course, that's going to be huge. But the Mercury, this is specifically around the messaging and why this motivates you. Okay.
Okay.
So I did a little research here because I'm a line one. Did a little digging. And
Okay, okay.
so I do have mine and yours, but I also have two celebrities
Oh,
that I did some digging. What would you like to look at first?
oh, I don't know.
And let's do ours first. Let's walk through.
Okay.
Walk through Mercury and
Uh-huh.
just the gates, because actually when I did the other people, I was taking in consideration their type and their profile and
Okay.
all that stuff too.
Okay.
So
So we'll just do ours first, since everyone
mhm.
knows ours.
Exactly. Okay. Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. All right. So, Mercury. Okay. So,
Wait, I have a question. First of all,
yes.
which one is Mercury in the columns on the
Uh,
charts?
it is, hold on. I got to look at it because it's like the alphabet. I have to still recite it. I believe
I
it's
do
under
too.
the Mercury. I think it's under the moon placement. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. So, if you're looking at your chart, it's going to be underneath your moon placement. So it's sun, earth, north node, south node, moon, and then Mercury. And
So
Mercury
that's one,
looks
two,
like it
three,
has the
four,
little
five,
horns on
six.
top
This
of the
is sixth one.
circle. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mercury.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. So Mercury, I have conscious gate 5, unconscious gate 6.
Okay.
Okay. And and I just want to also add in here real quick for
Okay.
everybody listening. Just
Yes.
because I give you this information now does not mean it might necessarily make sense to you in the moment. It might take some time, because this is something I've looked at myself many, many times. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the more work with it. I always hate saying work with human design, but you integrate the information, you experiment
Mm-hmm.
with it, see what it means, kind of uncover those layers of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
it starts to sink in a little bit more. And I think it's like when he talks about in the gene keys, the contemplation part of it, it just kind of starts to marinate in there, and one day it might make sense to you all of a sudden. And then
Mm-hmm.
you'll go back a little bit and go, but what is that? So I have to admit, this is something that I'm still experimenting with or thinking about or contemplating, is this
Mm-hmm.
messaging part, because this is why I think it's when I say what you're here to communicate, it doesn't always have to mean exactly just talking, like this is
Mm-hmm.
literally messaging, but this is what your energy communicates, this is what you
Right.
communicate,
What
this
you're giving
is
off.
right, you're expressing, and what people are here to learn from you in that regard as well.
Mm-hmm.
So gate 5, quantum human design, is consistency. Traditional is patterns, and the I Ching is waiting. And if you're interested, all this information that I'm talking about here, as far as the gates, the explanations of things, is coming
Mm-hmm.
from Karen Curry Parker's Encyclopedia of Human Design. Has
Okay.
all of her quantum explanations and her, so that's what I'm working with today.
Okay.
So gate 5, the optimal expression there is the ability to stay consistent with habits and choices that bring you closer to living true to who you are. and it's through alignment and not overusing willpower, because gate 5 is in the sacral center. It reaches up
Okay.
to the 15. Gate 5 is a lot about your own rhythm, natural rhythms. It's about nature. It's about, rhythms of nature, all this stuff. That's the patterns in human design.
Gotcha.
But the consistency there. And so the way I experience this, the way I think about it, is my own way of doing things, right? And how that helps me stay consistent in what it is that helps me keep in alignment, kind of thing. It's they always say, people, gate 5, it's like, you really like your own schedule, your own way of doing things. It's that morning cup of coffee, like it has to be done a certain way. You like it your way. And whenever I find myself in those behaviors, I'm like, okay, this is, I do. I've got all these natural little ways of doing that. Anyways, okay. So what I thought I would look at was the optimal expression, but then also she breaks down what the lessons are and the challenges are with these gates. This is what you're learning throughout life. And one of them is about, for this gate, is learning to craft these habits or this order that supports you in finding alignment and connection, keeping your energy in that stable position. But she says here, to become skilled at staying in tune with consistent habits and alignment that support your growth and evolution, no matter what is happening around you. So when I read that, I was like, okay, and attuning to the natural world and the natural flow. But when I read the part about becoming, staying in tune, consistent habits, alignment, no matter what's going on around you, I was like, so the first time this really today sunk in, I was like, yes, I get that. And that is what I do communicate to people, is like, you have control over how you run your life for the most part. You get to choose how it is you're going to spend your time, spend your day, spend your energy. Even if you don't have control over your time, how you choose to experience that time is up to you as well. So it's about staying in your own, or setting up practices that help you stay in alignment, which I certainly do talk to people about, that of, finding the things that help you stay true to what's good for you. And I was like, okay, all right, okay, that's part of my message. And then the unconscious is gate 6, which is the gate of impact. That comes off the solar plexus to the sacral.
Okay.
It's emotional energy. Human design, friction. In the I Ching, it's conflict.
What was the quantum name again?
Impact.
Okay.
So it's maintaining a high frequency of emotional energy that supports equitability, sustainability, and peace, using emotional intelligence and alignment to influence others, okay, to serve as a beacon of peace. I believe in Gene Keys is called, one of the gift is diplomacy. And so this is about holding the emotional vibration, the frequency of alignment, of holding the frequency of around you in the environment you're in. So the challenge, the lessons, the things I'm here to help people with, the lesson is to become proficient in using emotional energy, and to learn to trust the impact is in service to the world, and that the quality of the emotional energy you cultivate influences others to do the same. Okay, that's a synopsis. Those are some main points of the lessons and challenge. And so again, this is something that I'm definitely honing in my messaging, that I believe as well, is that personal responsibility for your own energy, how you're feeling, how your energy affects those around you. I'm an emotional generator, so knowing that there's the waves, but finding that baseline and really tuning to it. And understanding that how you are feeling is incredibly important.
Do you remember one of the last few times I was home, and it was the one night that we were all yelling at each other? And Daddy said some shit. I don't remember what he said, but it really upset Lakeland. And then we're standing in the office afterwards, and you're like, you're helping her work through it.
Let's just say that it was nothing major.
No, nothing horrible.
Just,
no.
Normal clashing.
We were just, I think it was
Beefing.
mainly me and him were
Yeah.
fussing at each other because he
Mm-hmm.
was annoying, but that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see you were using your emotional authority to help
Mm-hmm.
her process what was really upsetting her, and help
Mm-hmm.
her work through it, and also you were helping her see where daddy was coming from as well. So you were
Mm-hmm.
kind of helping her get back up to that baseline.
Mm-hmm. The diplomat.
Yeah. It was needed in that situation.
Definitely. No, I get it. No, I get it. Yep. Yeah. It was, yeah, definitely. So
Mhm.
thank you. I appreciate you
Yeah.
saying that.
Yeah.
Um, well, and it's also, I guess it's a natural marker there, but also just, I've done a lot of work around trying to find the responsibility of yourself and everything and forgiveness and just learning that, we're all just doing the best we can. We
Hmm.
could not be assholes sometimes, but
Yeah.
we're trying. Okay. So let's move on to you. Okay. For your
Mhm.
Mercury, because,
Yes.
we get sidetracked. So your conscious Mercury is gate 63, which is interesting because that is also your conscious sun, I
Oh,
believe. Mm-hmm.
I got that double activation there.
Yes, you do. It is not only your main expression of the world, but it's also part of your messaging. So, or what you're
That's,
here to communicate.
yeah.
So, it is gate 63, and quantum is
Which,
curiosity.
mhm.
Quantum human design is doubt. And in the
No,
I Ching,
traditional. You
and I
said
said it.
quantum twice. Hmm.
Sorry. And quantum human design is curiosity. Traditional human design is doubt. In the I Ching, it's called after completion. So, the optimal expression here of this gate
Hmm.
is the ability to use questioning and curiosity to stimulate dreams of new possibilities and potentials. Thoughts that inspire the question of what needs to happen to make an idea a reality. Okay.
Okay.
You're like, I don't know what that means. You're meant to question. You're meant to help people
I do question.
question. The questions. The lesson, the challenge here is to not let self doubt and suspicion cause you to stop being curious. So that is part of what you're going to communicate. What you're here to communicate to people is to be curious and not worry about, the outcomes. It's more about the possibility. The questioning, if we remember, this starts the whole creative process in the sense of you've got to have the question that creates the spark, really, in the
Hmm.
brain to, like, okay, I have something to focus on. That's gonna The thought, the question creates a emotional frequency of some sort, creates a reaction of some sort. It's part of the creative process. And
Hmm.
that is what you're here to help communicate, is to stay curious, for people to be curious and not doubt yourself in your curiosity. Okay. And then your unconscious Mercury, gate 58, which is in the root center. Of course, 63, sorry, was in the head center. So this has a pretty clear theme. It's joy, because quantum, it's joy. Traditional, it's joy. And the I Ching, it's joy of life. So there's a lot
You
of
said this
joy
was
here. 58.
58?
Mm-hmm.
58, okay.
And this is your unconscious side. So this is, um, you're doing it a lot of time. You don't even realize it, really. But
Hmm.
so it's creating from joy. And so it's to harness the joy of virtuosity and refine your practice until you fulfill your potential. And it's to live in the flow of joy. So it connects to that 18, 58, 18. It's about something you want to create out of joy. You want to master something. You want to keep honing your craft. You keep going and doing. And so the lesson here, the challenge, things you're here to help people learn, is to follow the drive to create the fulfillment of your potential, and to learn to embrace joy as a vital force of creative power without guilt or denial. So if you put those two together for you, it's like, stay curious. What can we do? It's like a very playful energy to me. It's a very joyful message. It's like,
Hmm.
follow your heart, be curious, get out there, try things. That's what I take from it.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So if we take that now with the moon gates, okay, what drives
Okay.
us?
Okay.
So I have the moon in conscious gate 29, unconscious gate 8.
Okay. 29-8. Okay.
Okay. Gate 29 is gated devotion in quantum human design, traditional perseverance, the I Ching. God, I love this name, the abysmal.
Oh.
But this is the gate of devotion and perseverance, and it's coming off the sacral. So it's in response and it's like
hmm
commitment. It's like, I'm committed. So the optimal expression here is the ability to respond to committing to the right thing, right? Because you got to use
hmm
that sacral, and to know that the perseverance, the determination to really change the narrative of the world and show people what's possible. So it's devotion setting the tone for direction. Okay.
Okay.
That's quantum. The challenge there is really to discover what and who you need to devote yourself to, sustaining yourself so you can persevere, and to learn to say no to what you need to say no to, and learn to say yes to what you want to say yes to. Okay. So
hmm
there's that part of it. And then that's, we're still talking about moon and drive. And so then the unconscious 8, fulfillment, is the quantum, traditional contribution, I Ching, holding together. This is a throat gate. This is the expression, is the optimal expression is to push the edges and boundaries of authentic self expression, and to realize that being your authentic self is your purpose. It is, who you are is your
hmm
purpose. That is the message here, because it connects, it connects with gate 1, the creative, which is in the G center. So this is literally the voice of the individual, the creative. And the lesson challenge here, expressing yourself authentically, and to wait for the right people to see the value of who you are and to share yourself with them with vulnerability and all your heart. So if I were to look at that for myself, what motivates me? Yes. I mean, my moon, gate 8, is also my unconscious earth. So that grounds me as well, is
hmm
finding the people that appreciate me. I have to be myself and know that that's what motivates me, is this expression of the self and being a voice for the self, of giving other people permission to be themselves. That motivates me. It drives me, and it certainly does. I'm always,
hmm
hoping that people don't live in a box and don't live lives they don't want to live, and don't pretend to be somebody you're not. It's like,
Yeah.
totally, totally. And you know
100%. I mean, that's kind of how you raised us. Like you never tried to put anything on us. Like, some people, they feel like their parents tried to make them like them, make them like their parents, but
mhm.
I never felt like you were trying to push anything on us
Oh,
unless we wanted
thank
to do
you.
it.
Because I tried really hard.
I know.
Not that I tried really hard like I was working against my nature, but I mean, I felt very strongly about that.
hmm
It's true. And then as far as the devotion, the commitment part, I definitely, does it, I'm still working around this. What does that mean to me, to like what
hmm
drives me, devotion? But I think it means to me that I don't want to do something unless I feel like it's like important, in the
hmm
sense that, if I'm going to commit to it, like, I mean, even when your dad asked me to marry him, I was like, you better mean it. Because I'm not just doing this thing just to get divorced like 10 years later.
hmm
And I'm not going to put kids through that or whatever. Like, if I'm in it, I'm in it.
hmm
And I guess I'm always looking for things in that sense to commit myself to, because otherwise it's just not going to happen for me.
hmm
Okay, so for Haley, so with your moon placements, you have the
hmm
moon, conscious moon gate 19, unconscious moon gate 9. And so on the
Okay.
conscious side, gate 19 is the gate of attunement. In traditional human design, it's wanting. And in the I Ching, it's gate of approach. So
Okay.
the optimal expression here, so 19, it comes off of the root center, reaching towards the solar plexus through the
Okay.
1949. There's a lot of very sensitive energy here. And so the optimal expression here is the ability to sense the emotional needs of others and your community, to know how to bring the emotional energy back into alignment with sufficiency and sustainability. It's the ability to be emotionally vulnerable and present
Ah.
to increase heart to heart connections. Now,
Hmm.
you may or may not resonate with this right now as much because you do have it in line 6. It's 19 line 6. Just so
Oh, okay.
could be changing. So if that any part of that is like, I don't know about that, then just, I don't know. How do you feel about that part of it?
I feel like a lot of times I can recognize how someone's feeling. Like I feel like I can connect to that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of it, I'm not so sure about.
Okay. All right. Well, yes, you're very sensitive. And so the lesson, the challenge here is to learn how to manage being a highly sensitive person and to not let your sensitivity cause you to compromise what you want and who you are. Right.
Yeah.
Um, uh, to learn to keep your own resources in a sustainable state. You're also a projector in order
Hmm.
so that you have more to give. And this very much in this line because this is tribal circuitry as well. So it is all about your tribe, your
Hmm.
community. Um, to not martyr yourself to the needs of others. And then unconscious side is gate 9 is convergence. Gate 9 comes off of the sacral, reaching down towards the root,
Okay.
and it's called convergence. That's a fun word. The traditional name here is a little easier to understand. It's focus. And in
Oh,
the I Ching, you gotta love this one, the taming of the power of the small. So it's
that's
about
a
details.
mouthful.
It's about focus and details, right? Okay, so
I am good with the details.
the optimal expression here is the ability to see the big picture and prioritize where to focus your energy. And then the lesson challenge here is energy is about learning where to place your focus, obviously. It's about being able to see the trees and the forest. And you can sometimes be blind to the big picture and lose focus by, going down a rabbit hole. So, as far as these being things that motivate you, this
Hmm.
is, when you think about sensitivity and focus. So, you can play around with that because I'm not you.
Hmm.
So, when you hear those things, does it anything kind of uh, shake up in you, or anything kind of resonate with you there? I guess I should say.
I mean, I resonate with both of them. Like I am good with the details, and I definitely the challenge is sometimes seeing the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
But both of them in terms of like as a driving force, I
Mm-hmm.
don't see so much.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you think about it in the context of putting it together with the Mercury there, with what you're here to
Hmm.
communicate, it's like, okay, if you take the idea of, you're here to encourage people to stay curious, to not doubt yourself, to ask the
Hmm.
questions, why do you want to do that? What motivates you? You want what you just said, you said something about seeing the big picture, the focus, so if you
Hmm.
were to put that together like in a messaging type of thing, it would be, you would be sensitive, oops, excuse me, you would be sensitive to the needs of others. You are sensitive to emotional frequency and alignment and staying focused in the right direction, maybe,
Hmm.
to,
Yeah.
stay curious, stay open, all those things. Just some,
Stay joyful.
yeah, yeah, things to consider. It's what motivates you as you move through life and whatnot, is being kind of in a way is like, to me, coming through is staying open, of not
Hmm.
shutting yourself down, because there is in that gate 19 this lesson, also this challenge of not being codependent or shut down, being able to be emotionally connected to people without all the other, it's like emotional intelligence in a way. So things to ponder. Like I said, you might not get it all right now, but it's what it
Hmm.
means to you. So that was us. I was real quick, and I know it's not real quick. We've had some snafus on this call.
There's
hopefully
been a
when
lot.
it goes to press here, when you guys are listening to it, it's a much pared down version of the call that we're on. This is like the third or fourth time we've had the internet mess up repeatedly. We've had my neighbor across the street come over asking if I had a key to her house. She locked herself out. We've had the landscapers. We've had your cousin and brother
Leon and
come into the room,
Lakeland
talk to you for a minute.
and
So
the
we
dog.
it's been 2 hours. But hopefully with some artful editing we get it down below that. So okay. So for fun. Oh my god, I forgot we've got the incarnation cross of the week to do too. Oh, I gotta get through this.
Oh gosh.
That's why I always hate making a lot of these commitments. Sometimes like, I'm gonna give you an incarnation cross of the week. And then I'm like, oh, we don't run out of time. Okay.
No, it's good. It does not matter how long the episodes are.
I know.
They don't have to be this set time every time.
My gate 5 is like,
no, it's okay. It's okay. Because also your line 1 is like all the information.
True.
No, okay, this one's been fun.
I picked 2 very influential women. 2 women who are very much.
Okay. Do I know them? Like,
of course.
Do I know who they are?
Everybody on the planet probably knows these 2.
Oh god. No, I'm scared. I'm not gonna know.
Who can you think of as 2?
That's my doubt.
Tell me right now. 2 of the most famous people on the planet. What's one of them right now you can think of?
Oprah?
Yes, that's one of them.
Okay. Oprah? Okay.
What's the other one?
Oh, another one.
She's younger.
She's younger. Oh.
More in your age. She's everywhere right now. Sometimes 3 nights a week in one city.
Oh, Taylor Swift?
Yeah. Those were the 2 that like I couldn't honestly when I was thinking about it, I couldn't even think of any other people. I'm like, well, everybody knows those 2, knows what they're about, knows the work they do, knows their kind of their message, right? So I thought that would be fun. Okay. We're not having to tell anybody who Oprah is or who Taylor Swift is. And if
unless they live under a rock,
may not be my people if I have to tell you. So yes, Oprah. Okay.
Yes.
Oprah is a 2-4 generator. Okay. Pure generator. So again, she's about turning inspiration into form. She's about mastery over time, which anybody could say this woman has built a body of work over time. She has definitely mastered her craft of being a communicator for one, but a thought leader for sure. Right.
Yeah.
She is a 2-4. I think I've talked about her before. Maybe when we did our profiles about the 2-4, about how
I think maybe.
Yeah, she very much like is kind of a private person, but also is there for everyone. Like she's energized by her community, but she definitely needs that time to herself that she guards. So integration with that 2-4, building the foundations. And I love this one because so much of her message is about renewal, integration, taking care of yourself, but also when we talked about the 4 part of it, building the foundations of things so that when people are ready to transition into new possibilities, like she's helped you build those structures. I mean, come on, Oprah Winfrey Show, Super Soul Sunday, everything she's ever done is like helping people build those foundations, right? And I mean, she's a role model of mine. I love her.
She's great.
So her Mercury gates are gate 49 and gate 34. This is so amazing. So gate 49, I love this, is revolution. And it's also called the catalyst, right? And so it's I'm going to give you just the bolded parts that I pulled out, which, you know, for her would be the ability to inspire others to make expansive changes that embrace higher principles and a deeper alignment with peace and sustainability. Come on.
Yeah.
It's about holding values. There's also values there in that gate 49. It's like tribe values and everything, and having the values set for the tribe. And then also, so the lesson challenge part there, this is something that she helps people learn. one of the lessons here is, holding on for longer than is healthy and to settle or compromise your values in situations, relationships, or agreements that aren't worthy of you. And so a lot of her messaging, especially when she was younger or when she was doing the Oprah Winfrey show, I mean, she still
Hmm.
does this, but I feel like her message is so much like, if it's not if it's not working for you, if it's not good for you, it's
Hmm.
like, don't compromise what you need in yourself. Like, take care of yourself. That renewal, the integration.
Hmm.
Hmm. Uh-huh. And then the gate 34 is the gate of power. It's in the sacral center.
Hmm.
And so it's the ability to, it's in response, but to unify the right people around a transformative and powerful idea when the timing and circumstances are correct. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. To wait to know which project or creation to implement based on what placed based on when you get something to respond to. It's personal power. It's about using your personal power in response. It's like, it is responding to life in that way. And I just love that whole idea of unifying people around transformative
Hmm.
ideas. I mean, she spent her whole career doing this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. So then what motivates her, the moon, if we're just going to look at formulas here, her moon is also in gate 34, gate of power, right? That
Hmm.
transformative. That's also what motivates her, is, gathering people around transformative ideas. And also what we just talked about, what she's hearing, the message, also what inspires her. So there's going to be a lot there, or what motivates her, not inspires her. And then her unconscious moon is in gate 18, which is realignment. Uh, Traditional human design is gated correction. And so, really, this is,
Oh, I have that one.
yeah, this is about patterns and seeing patterns, knowing what needs to be corrected. But it connects to gate 58, which is about what's about? Joy. It's
There's been a lot of
serving,
numbers thrown at
yeah,
me.
it's serving joy. The motivation here is to serve joy, and which I think is awesome. And so the challenge here is, right timing, right circumstances to offer intuitive insights, because it is in the spleen, into how to
Mhm.
fix or correct a pattern, I'm sorry. And it's to understand that the purpose of realignment is to create more joy, not to be right. So it is,
Mm.
as a generator, someone who is mastery, finding something that they want to, really build, create out of that sense of joy. And so what motivates her is serving joy. And I think that shows in pretty much everything she does, especially as she
Hmm.
has moved on in life. So that was Oprah. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
She's living pretty true to her design in
Yeah.
those aspects, at least. I don't know
Yeah.
the
And
rest of her
so,
chart, so.
yeah. And so it's like, well, we can look at these figures of people that are well known, because you can kind of help see how it
Hmm.
is. Yes, she is very much somebody who has a message, but it's also how she has crafted that message in the same way, using all
Hmm.
parts of herself is integrated into that message. So it's how you communicate and what you communicate.
Yeah.
So old T Swift here.
Be swift. Hmm.
She is a splenic projector, such as yourself.
Oh, my girl.
Hmm. Which, I don't know how she does it. I mean, she's young yet. I hope she doesn't burn herself out. I just hope she's got a lot of rest and renewal in there. Because, I mean, but you know what? It's not surprising to me, because Hunter, he and Lexi went and saw her a couple weeks
Hmm.
ago in Raleigh,
Right.
and they were just like fascinated by how she, could do this night after night. And I'm thinking, well, she is a splenic projector on stage with tens of thousands of people that are probably mostly,
That want to be there for what she has to share.
and they're generators. I mean, it's like, no
It's
wonder
like
she can go
overload.
for hours. I mean, she can just go for hours. Like, I hope that she rests in between, but she probably also, after she's on tour, she probably disappears for a while if she can.
Yeah.
But she's also a 5-1 splenic projector,
Oh,
which
okay.
is also interesting because that line 5 projection carries that, like, people love her, hate her, they project things onto her.
Mm-hmm.
She's good, she's bad,
Yeah.
she's, vain, she's the most compassionate, she's, all these things. And she's definitely got that leadership energy for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So her Mercury gates are in gate 58, joy, and 18. So her Mercury gates complete that whole 1858
Oh.
channel, right? So when you think about what she does and who she is and the message she has, what do we talk about? It is that virtuosity of, like, not virtuous, like virtuousness. It means, creating from joy, serving joy, mastering what it is, her craft, her message, whatever that is. And it says, to learn to craft a talent and make it consummate through joyful learning and repetition, to learn to embrace joy as a vital force of creative power. That's the challenge there. But that's what she
Yeah.
demonstrates to people night after night. I mean, she got
Mm-hmm.
to the top of her game by doing it over and over and over again. She's the best at
Mm-hmm.
what she does. I mean, I think Hunter even said, he's like, I don't even know how I could ever see another concert that could be better than that. He's like, I really had to think about it. Is there anybody that could top this experience,
Wow.
And because she has just continuously ridden that wave and, like, learned and growing and building on everything that she does.
Mm-hmm.
Also, realignment correction is the other end of it. So we pretty much, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So her messaging. So what motivates her moon gates are in gate 15 and 17. Gate 15 is the gate of compassion. It's also known
Mm.
as extremes in traditional human design. And the optimal expression there is the ability to trust your own flow and rhythm, which she very
Mm.
much, in the way she does things, nobody will deny that she runs her own show, you know,
Yeah.
and
I
it could
mean,
be different than what anybody else expects. Nobody out there, I think, will walk in and do 3 hours on stage nonstop, like 3 days in a row in the rain, whatever. Like, she's like, she'll do it her way, right?
mm-hmm.
um it says to learn to set parameters for your creativity and work within the parameters of when it feels right and when to rest in between. Thank God, because she's, needs that rest. But basically, what she's also here, what motivates her, is being in the flow of her own rhythm. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And having the courage to do the right thing, even if you're worried about not having enough. And she has done that. I think it was, I mean, she might not have been worried about it. She has a lot of clout. But, even as far as how she deals with some of the streaming platforms and everything, it's about,
The
she
whole thing where
sets,
she did, Taylor's version, she like re-recorded a bunch of her songs and put them as Taylor's version because I think it was something like didn't have the rights. I forget the background of it,
yeah.
but she basically re-recorded them and did
Mhm.
her own version because someone had basically, I think, stolen the music. I don't know the
Yeah.
details per se, but
Well, also, like, she wouldn't use some of the streaming platforms because of the way it, and that's that leadership energy too, as well, of,
mm-hmm.
being the leader in her field, of using her power, using her, whatever you want to call it, power, uh, influence, right? And then gate 17, anticipation. It's also known as the gate of opinions in traditional. And it's the optimal expression is using the power of your mind to explore potentials and possibilities that stretch our ideas about what else is possible, and to use your thoughts to inspire others to think bigger and bolder, and to use your words to inspire and set the stage for creating energy that expands potential. So
Mm-hmm.
what's interesting, that's pretty interesting, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
she, I mean, she's inspired a generation of women or more of just that. She wants to, she's a creative individual, she is a
Mm-hmm.
creative person. She's using her expression, all these things. Like, it's, when you look at it in this context, it's like you can see, it's, she might be singing love songs or whatever, but it is, she's doing her work in her way, and the message that she helps convey to those around her is to be true to yourself and to
Mm-hmm.
um you know create from joy. I mean, there's nobody to say that she doesn't really express that in her work.
Yeah.
Now there's her sad songs, but when she is like when she is doing her thing, I mean, that's why people want to go see her,
Hmm.
because it just like makes them so happy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's just the little trip around uh
Yeah.
messaging.
That's fun.
Yeah, that's fun. So
Yeah.
hopefully when you're looking at your own chart, like I said, you can use this as kind of a template to look at. Again, it's going to be, I mean, you can have someone help guide you through it that might, I happen to be kind of good at that, to help point some of those things out for you. If you want to work with me,
Hmm.
that'd be
Hmm.
great. But
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're, want to work on that yourself, I suggest some of these resources, like getting the Encyclopedia Quantum Human Design is a good one. There's lots of human design books out there that are
Hmm.
incredibly helpful, but what I was using today was coming from that. So I think that it can help you get clear on, maybe you're in the beginning stages of thinking about what it is you want to do with your life, or what your purpose
Hmm.
is, or maybe you're trying to rebrand yourself, or any of these things. This could certainly help point you in the right direction. So I hope
Hmm.
that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so as promised, we now have a new segment, the Incarnation Cross of the Week. and
Yay.
and as I explained last week, this is a total random selection. I have put all the crosses in a spreadsheet, 1 through 92. I've done a random number generator to give me a number, and
Hmm.
I will talk about that cross. Now, full disclosure, I did that this week, and it gave me the same. It was a different, totally number, but it had the same gates from the cross we did last week. So I said,
Hmm.
we'll visit that another time. So this is a juxtaposition cross, the juxtaposition
Ooh.
cross of fates. Okay. So being a juxtaposition cross, what does that mean, Haley? Profile wise?
Profile wise, there's like only a couple of them.
One.
One, it's the 4-1.
That's right. The juxtaposition cross is if you have this cross, you're a 4-1 profile.
So is
And
it only like, well, yeah, I guess it makes sense because so if you have this incarnation cross, you are a 4-1.
correct.
If you are a 4-1, do you automatically have this incarnation cross?
Not this one, but you have a juxtaposition cross, because
How
we
many
have
juxtaposition crosses are there?
64, because there's 64 gates.
I can't always wrap my head around
I know.
the
The more you
pyramid
look
of
at it,
of
I know.
incarnation crosses.
Okay, so the right angle crosses are going to be profiles that start with a 1, 2, or 3, and the left angle crosses are going to be ones that start with 5 and 6. The juxtaposition starts with a 4, 1. Well, except for the 4, 6, that's considered. It's okay. This is one of the areas of human design. You're like, what? What does that mean? Everything but that one it's a 4, but it also operates as a rectangle. Or right. Actually, it operates as a right angle. It's screwed up.
It's just
But
one of the things that for right now, at least, I just have to accept.
you just have to accept it. It's not
You
important.
just tell me what it is, and I just have to accept it.
I will say, looking at this cross, this is another one that I'm like, wow, if you have this juxtaposition cross, or you might have a left angle cross with these same gates, it's just the way the math works.
I'll just
This
accept
is
it.
this is the conscious gates, sun and earth gates of 30 and 29, unconscious gates of 34 and 20. So
Can you
34, 20.
remind me what this cross name is? Because I already forgot.
Fates, cross of fates, fate.
Cross of Fates. Okay, and then what are the gates again?
On the conscious side, it's the 30 and the 29.
Uh-huh.
Unconscious side, 34 and 20.
Okay.
So 34, 20, if you can remember, but you probably don't because you're never looking at a body graph while we're talking ever, is the manifesting generator channel, the main, because it's sacral
the
straight to the
pure
throat.
one.
Yeah, so if somebody has 34 and 20 in their chart, they're a manifesting generator, no matter what.
Right.
So this person is a manifesting generator. And then, gate 30 is gate of passion. 29 we talked about earlier in the episodes, perseverance, determination. This is an intense
That's a
expression, I
lot.
think.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So
Okay.
as such, so I put together a little synopsis here, if you will. I can synopsize myself, but I write things out sometimes because it helps me, say it
I think
better.
you just read it last week, so.
I did, and I apologize. People don't like reading. I'll try to make it interesting, but okay. So if you have this cross, you are driven by an insatiable desire. You relentlessly pursue your passions, willing to burn the candle at both ends. Hello, manifesting generator.
Okay.
An unyielding determination propels you on a fixed trajectory. That's the 4-1. Fueled by the intention to experience and accomplish everything in the shortest, most direct time possible.
The manifesting part.
Focus is unwavering and may have little patience for those who hinder your progress. Yeah, manifesting generator. You have an unshakable belief in a specific destiny that only you can comprehend, because this is very much a 4-1 thing. It's very much fixed on that conscious sun part of their profile. In this case would be 30, which would be whatever they're very passionate. They have a passionate desire. You're driven by a deep desire to fulfill your destiny, and anyone who dares to impede your journey can sometimes face your disdain. I love the word disdain.
It's a good word.
Occasionally, you have a relentless drive that pushes you to the brink, leading you to moments of overwhelming pressure or exhaustion. Yet you persevere, for your purpose burns brightly within you, guiding you towards something extraordinary. So basically, I would say that you're driven by an insatiable desire to accomplish whatever it is you want, everything you want, in the shortest time possible. That's the energy you're bringing in the room.
It's a pretty loaded energy.
It is. It is. You embrace obsession, unwavering focus, and relentless pursuit, not allowing anyone to impede your progress. Anyway, so yeah, you are someone who's really driven by your passions, and that's okay. That's what you're meant to do if you have this incarnation cross, or maybe someone with it, especially as the 4-1. This is going to be a very specific to you, and maybe learning to embrace that, but also remember to take care of yourself, because you don't want to burn yourself out. There's a lot. I mean, they say if you have gate 30 defined in your chart, it like 10x's everything in the chart.
No, my.
Maybe 5x, 10x, maybe somewhere in there.
But it really amplifies it.
It does, because it is a very intense, passionate energy, gate 30. Yeah. So there you go. Incarnation cross of the week. So that wraps us up for today, Haley, because now we know when the episode is over.
Yes. We finally have a way to wrap it up.
It's a good one. So anyways, Haley and I both thank you for listening to us today. We've had fun. And if you like today's episode, maybe give us a good rating if you haven't already on iTunes. That would be fun. More people can find us. But also, you can always reach out to me. I love it when you do reach out to me, especially on Instagram. Now, I swear I have a plan to be more active as far as posting over there, but I get so just bogged down on Instagram. Sometimes it's like, but I do check it all the time, and I'm always checking my DMs.
Yes,
a lot of my focus is on this podcast and getting things into YouTube, getting information out there. And this is the easiest way for me to do it right now, is for recording things. So, and if I slow myself down sometimes getting into Instagram, but I do love the DMs, and I love it when you all reach out and talk to me. And you have any more ideas of things you'd like to hear us talk about, please let me know. I'm always here to listen. Yes, because I am a generator responding to whatever it is you guys want to hear. So, all right. I appreciate you, Haley. I appreciate everybody out there. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. So, bye.
Bye.
Well, you made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hive podcast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.